Fianna Fáil is committed to the self-determination of the Palestinian people and to their right to a Palestinian state. We need to do that by a two-state solution. And we've used every diplomatic, political and financial means possible to bring that about, working with Arab states on the Arab Peace Initiative and working through the European Union and the United Nations to do everything we can to further that. And we've done that through recognising the state of Palestine, through giving significant funding to UNRWA, the humanitarian relief organisation that supports Palestinians, and then through the United Nations and the international legal courts, ensuring accountability for the war crimes that Israel is committing in Palestine right now. What's happening in Gaza is genocidal. It's collective punishment of an entire people. It needs to stop. We need an immediate ceasefire, the release of all hostages, and a dramatic surge in humanitarian aid to the people of Palestine. The slaughter cannot go on.
Well, the ongoing genocide is absolutely unjustified. Sinn Féin has raised this issue consistently, both in the Dáil, campaigning on the streets, but also in the European Union and in the White House. If Sinn Féin leads the next government, we will make addressing this conflict our number one international relations priority. We'll introduce the Occupied Territories Bill, recognise the state of Palestine, and call for real sanctions against Israel at a European and international level. We need a ceasefire, we need a peace process, and we need dialogue towards the recognition of and eventually the realisation of the two-state solution in Israel and Palestine.
Israel's war in Gaza is absolutely barbaric. Every morning we wake up to the news that over 30 children have died overnight. However, Ireland has made sure under Simon Harris that our voice is heard. We were the first European country alongside Spain and Norway to recognise Palestine. The Palestinian Prime Minister thanked us for this because it keeps alive the desire to get a two-state solution. We've increased our funding to UNRWA, we will pass the Occupied Territories Bill, and we've asked for the EU-Israel trade agreement to be reviewed. But we can do more. We will, of course, increase the level of funding to support the victims of this brutal war. We will enforce all international Court of Justice warrants, and our voice will continue to be heard to ensure that our European partners move closer to make sure that we can do everything in our power to bring the violence to an end.
The genocide in Gaza has shocked so many people at its ferocity, at its continued length, and it's a disgusting travesty that we in Ireland, while talking the talk about being in favour of Palestine, have been absolutely complicit in this regard by allowing overflights in Shannon, by increasing our sales of dual-use goods to Israel while we talk and wring our hands. Our government has not done enough. Our people are screaming for action and for compliance with international law. It's beyond belief that a small country which is occupied, which has an affinity with Palestine, has not taken a lead in a European Union which is utterly complicit, as are the Americans, in ensuring that this slaughter has continued now for well over a year. We need action, not rhetoric. It's gone on far too long.
The Labour Party has a strong and long tradition of supporting the people of Palestine. Back in 2018, our party leader, Eoin, co-sponsored the Occupied Territories Bill, and it's absolutely shameful that this government has decided to play politics with that vital piece of legislation that should have been introduced long ago. The government has, instead of introducing it and implementing it, has said, we would love to, but we had to dissolve the Dáil quickly. And we think that that is absolutely outrageous. We think the condemnation, the words of condemnation are meaningless, and we need action on Palestine. We would support the introduction of the Occupied Territories Bill at a minimum, and we think we need to go forward as well. We need to boycott and divest from Israel, and we need to stop arms coming through this country's airspace, going directly to injure, maim and kill innocent Palestinians.
What is unfolding in Gaza is beyond words. It's a genocide, it's the mass slaughter of children, it's the targeting of journalists, it's the destruction of infrastructure, it's the deliberate driving out of Palestinian people out of their land. The only reason it can happen is because the big Western powers fuel it, allow it, fund it, arm it. And while the Irish government stands out in contrast to the US government or the British government or the German government in terms of at least making words of criticism of Israel, that isn't good enough when a genocide is unfolding before us. We need to match those words with action. We need to stop allowing planes of arms flying through Irish airspace. We need to shut down all diplomatic relations with Israel. We need to kick out their embassy, and we need to impose trade sanctions, full trade sanctions on Israel.
The Green Party and Grace O'Sullivan in 2018 were one of the signatories of the Occupied Territories Bill. It's a bill we absolutely believe in and advocated for very strongly within government. The money message has now been passed for that bill, and I believe that the authors of the bill are happy with the amendments that the government has proposed. We believe very, very sincerely that there is a humanitarian crisis in Gaza and that all humanitarian aid should be preserved and supported and upheld. We believe in continuing Ireland's very good track record and legacy in overseas development aid, making sure that there's clear delineation between that and climate funding, for example, and continuing the work in making sure that we reach out to the most vulnerable in society, but also that we continue to advocate for our people who are experiencing a genocide.
We are watching a genocide unfold in front of our eyes, and very clearly words are no longer enough. For the last year, the Social Democrats have tried to talk about not only the condemnation we bring, but the actions we take against Israel to bring their slaughter of the people of Gaza and Palestine to an end. So we would sanction and enact the Occupied Territories Bill, the State Divestment Bill. We would seek diplomatic sanction because we can't act like we can have normal relations with a country who are carrying out a genocide. We are signed up to the Genocide Convention under the 1976 terms. We are obligated to prevent it.